Hit it. You hit it. Right. Go.
Good morning. I'm Sir Persevere, Victor Catano, and today I am your guide master for the 6TP Club. Today I'm going to take you through our six transformational paths, and I'm going to show you different ways that you can make your life be better by taking your pill with us daily, every day, showing up to transform your life through the six paths. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. We're going to take you through stillness. We're going to take you through our scalar dreamer path, which is going to be the feature presentation today. And then we're going to take you to creator. We're going to take you to our sports passionate path. And we're going to take you to authorship and finally through the thinker path. And through all those, we're hoping that we're going to provide you total wellness. And we all know that the Sir Persevere platform is always aimed at making you be better mentally, physically, and spiritually, all through these six paths. So let us start immediately. Let us start by going into stillness. And we're going to start the stillness. I'm going to bring in some music that is going to sound a little bit like night driving. And here we go. So imagine you're driving your car, and there you are in the calm of the car, you and God. That's all it is. You're driving home, and there's nothing. You, sound of the road, whatever you see on the road, which is nothing. Everyone is sleeping, and you feel yourself starting to wander away. And now you start seeing those usual suspects come in: anxiety, problems, bills, bad news. All those things are trying to creep up on you. And you remind yourself that you have total authority over those things. Just like Jesus was able to calm the storm on the boat, you now stick your hand up towards that windshield and you say, problems, I'm not going to tell you today. I'm not going to tell my God about you. Instead, problems, I'm going to tell you about my God. Be gone. Be gone. Be diminished. I stand in the authority. I stand in my blessings. My glass is not half empty. It's half. See, folks, when you change your perspective and you take control and authority over your circumstances, you can start to experience change. Continue on your drive now with your different spirit. Visualize how all these circumstances can be different now that you've tamed them, now that you've told them that you have authority and that you're in control. Your circumstances don't dictate, you don't drive you. You already have a purpose that you were made for. Let your purpose override all things. And remember, sometimes it's hard to see how it's going to end, whether you're going to win or whether you're going to lose, because life is about winning and losing. Remember, if you stay the course, you win most of the time just by showing up. But remind yourself of the great Sir Persevere saying, I always say that when I'm losing, I'm just starting to win. because I know the end of the story, and I know where this tribe right here with Sir Persevere is about to end. It's about to end in a place of peace, calm, power, and control over all circumstances. Peace be with all of you. Welcome to the space. How's everyone feeling today?
Feeling great. We love it. Powerful stillness meditation. Love it.
I love it too. I love telling my circumstances, be gone, be done. I'm in charge, not you. Jesus is Lord, not you. Well, today we're going to go now into our Scalar Dreamer path, and I have a unique video for you. And what I am trying to create here is I'm trying to give you a childlike perspective when you are scaling and when you are dreaming, because when children dream and when children build and when children do things, they do things without worry and without concern. They just do. Without further ado, let's go into the video. Can you folks see that?
Yeah.
All right. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it. Children don't build sandcastles worrying about tide cycles or structural breakdown. They build because they can see potential in raw sand. As adults, we often call this risk assessment, but sometimes it's just fear dressed up in sophistication. A child doesn't ask if a castle is realistic. They start with the vision first and build outward. A scalar dreamer needs that exact same uninhibited space to architect big goals before operational constraints start chipping away at the vision. Watching a 17-year-old child completely immersed in sand and thought shows the power of being present. True breakthrough ideas don't happen in the noise of execution. They happen in the stillness of deep, unfiltered thought. I'd like to point out some scripture that backs this up. In Matthew 18:2 through 4, it says, He called a little child to him and placed the child among them. And he said, Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And in Mark 10:15 it says, Truly I tell you, anyone who will not receive the kingdom of God like a child will never enter it.
If you
So, folks, what impressions did that video leave on you? What do you think about, did it make you rethink how you pursue your goals and dreams? Did it make you think about, how you can innocently, like a child, build and create? What impression did it leave on you, Rosara?
Victor, I am amazed that When kids are in kindergarten, they dream. They're not embarrassed. They stand up in front of a crowd and they sing and they dance and they do everything. They portray their vision, but as they get a little older, that's they're scared of failure. They're scared of what others are going to say. They're scared of how they're going to show up to the world. So they start losing that spontaneity to just get up and do it. And we need to do that. As a scalar dreamer, we need to take our dreams and turn them into reality. Set a goal and just do it, as kids would do when they are in kindergarten.
And as a teacher, I know that you know a thing or two about that. I mean, that's the key thing there, right? It's the lack of fear, right? When children are building sandcastles or when they're using wood blocks to build things, they're not afraid about watching those towers topple down. In fact, sometimes you see that they take, a chop to it and they start knocking things down. They're not worried about consequences. They're not restricted by the fear of how that's going to come toppling down. And if it topples down, they're ready to do it all over again until they get it just right. Lawrence, what impression did that leave on you?
It was, excuse me. It was terrific to see your son and the way, like you're saying, just no fear, just having a vision of what he wants to create when he's there and just doing it. Um, so that's powerful. Like you're saying as well, coming up with what you want to do and just going for it. Thank you.
Now, the thing that you don't see in this video, which is hilarious, and I excluded it, was that there was a point in time. Now remember, we're at a beach. There are probably thousands of people at this beach. We were at Misquamicut Beach, and he's sitting there with this sandcastle at one point by himself. He's building, and these two, I would say, pretty attractive young ladies who were clearly interested in what he was doing came walking by, and he was so absorbed in what he was doing that he didn't even notice when they literally stood behind him and were kind of trying to get his attention. They were smiling, hoping that he turned around. And I don't know if it's that he just wasn't interested and he knew that they were there. I don't know. I don't really know how the exchange went down, but I just saw that the girls were just like, "Hello, we're here," and he never turned away. He just kept on with his sandcastle, and that's where I got this idea from, right? Because when we're building and we're creating, we get distracted. Things happen, right? And it's not just fear. It's like life really happens. Sometimes you run out of resources on projects. Sometimes you're deep into a project and you get a block. You don't understand what to do next, and you don't feel like there are resources around you. No one's giving you ideas. You're getting more criticism than ideas, and you get stuck, right? You need to be able to just sit there and continue to look at your project and see what it is, right? And see it through. And when it's not coming together the way you want it to, sometimes you need to be able to go into your own world and see that project, see its end, do that thought experiment that closes the gap from where that project is to where it ends, right? And I think that was a powerful example, not shown on video, of how we need to be in our own purpose. Dr. Pina, what are your
No,
thoughts?
excellence. It's innocence. Creativity is about innocence. It's just about starting and being free, and don't take it serious. Just play, and it's pure joy. It's completely freedom. You go and do. You go and enjoy the moment. You are so young, innocent, no responsibility. Just wanna be there with your being, and that's what it means, creativity. I love it.
Yes, there is something about the innocence, right? And I think that when you become an adult, you start thinking that you know more and that you know how things are going to end because you're violating one of my principles, which is letting your past experience dictate your today and your future. Some of us have failed at things and we only see how that could repeat itself. We don't see how, with a little tweaking and with a little change here and there, and maybe rethinking something, how that project could be different. Because sometimes, think of, I can't think of the book that we read a while ago, right? But one of the things that we learned in that book was that, and shout it out if you remember the book, but it shows the miners that they're digging and they're digging and they're digging. They have been digging for a long time. And it shows the caricature of them maybe like 5 feet away from everything that they had been digging for several days towards. And they quit and they gave up. They gave up right there and then, less than 5 feet from their goal, because they were tired of digging. And children don't get tired. You have to take them away from their toys. So one time I we bought Calvin. Calvin loves to build. Calvin will take a 300-piece Lego set and he will build it in a couple of hours to perfection. And one day we were on vacation and he, we got this toy that he wasn't even supposed to open until we got home in a couple of days. And we went to sleep. Everyone went to sleep, maybe around 11 ish. When I woke up at 5 a.m. to do, stillness with you guys, I woke up and I found this kid kind of like laying down on the side, and the entire thing had been built. He waited till everyone was sleeping, and he built the entirety of the Lego set. It was beautiful too, and my first reaction was to be annoyed that he stayed up and that he disobeyed and that he took the toy and he built it and he played with it before he was allowed to. And then I just said, wait a second, I am experiencing a moment of total genius right here. And I just gently picked him up, I kissed him on his forehead, and I laid his tired body to lie down. And he woke up the next day and he was just kind of like, looked like he was ashamed. And I was like, don't be ashamed. I'm disappointed that you disobeyed, but that was brilliant what you did, because everyone needs encouragement when they're in the middle of creating. Everyone needs their genius to be stroked. And I carefully say, don't let that validate you, right? But it is important to praise others. It is important to make people feel good, because sometimes that one little bit of encouragement can make all the difference to that person. So thank you for engaging me in this section. Now we're going to go to the creator path. I want you to take 30 seconds and I want you to think about how this changed your perspective on how you plan to create moving forward, and tell me, what might you do differently as you create new things or as you continue with some of your creations that are already in progress? How might childlike scaling dreaming, how might that impact how you create moving forward? Lawrence, any thoughts you want to share about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep on polishing my cold plunge platform, and that's falls under the creator path. So I'm working on making a whole audiovisual presentation. At this point, it's just been audio. So now there's going to be video included with it. So that's what I'm working on this week to bump it up and improve it for everyone.
So Lawrence, right? We all internally know your brilliance because we see you every day and we work with you and we have deep admiration. You've created a fabulous website for us. You've done so many great things that have been on display for us on a daily basis, right? Um, but we've also seen how you've tried to make your cold plunge simulator work. And there have been some times that even someone who has the tech experience that you have, and I don't say this from a point of criticism, I say this from a point of creativity, right? We've seen it not work, right? You've had to improvise and explain how those things, are supposed to work, right? How do you think a child would handle those situations, right? What would a child do when their creation doesn't work? And how might that change the way you continue to develop this incredible thing that you're working on?
I think they just keep trying and they don't give up. Sort of like your son when making the sandcastles. Um, if something doesn't go right, you don't just say, forget it. You keep on figuring out how you're going to do it until you get the result you want. You keep on moving the sand. You maybe need some dry sand you got to mix in with the wet sand to make it balance out. Um, so it's experimenting, figuring out what works, what doesn't, and just keep on persevering it.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow, so persevering it. I love the verb.
Woo! Where's the
I love the
applause on that?
verb.
That was an applause moment. Come on, man.
There you go. There you
You're
That's
go.
not
an
on your
applause
game.
moment. Let me.
That's an
Where are
applause
these
moment.
guys? Where are these guys? Where are they?
Ooh.
Come on,
So
correct.
There you go.
I like that. And Lawrence, if you notice in the video, right, you notice that there's actually a little moat going around his castles, right?
Yep.
First couple of castles were completely obliterated by the water, right? And he could have very easily just said, I got to move back a little further because the wave is going to keep knocking down my castle. Instead, what he did was he dug a trench around it and he dug another trench towards the front, like a passageway leading up to it, right? And he made all the water funnel into that trench that he made, and then it stopped destroying the castle. It was fascinating as a parent to watch him do this, and then um, his siblings who were playing a little further away came, and now they started to help him and they immediately understood what he was doing. There was very little talking going on, by the way. There wasn't any, what do you want me to do? She immediately, in fact, Emmy then started going to the ocean to get buckets of water to fill the moat for him, right? Because she thought in her own creativity that what he was doing was trying to create a river around the castle, but what he was actually doing was protecting his castle from the water. And it was just very neat to see how they were both creating kind of the same thing, but with different ideologies. And and here we are trying to scale our club, right? And we all come from a different place. We have different goals. We have different things that different ways that we go about doing this. And that's a perfect example of how you can have one goal, one purpose, one creation, and all with different interests competing, interests that aren't competing but that are more personalized, right? All to achieve the same result. Because when you're working on a project together, everyone has a role in the collaboration of that. And sometimes we forget that it also takes excellent leadership like the one that Dr. Pina provides to us regularly, right? Sometimes we have to make really hard decisions. Sometimes we can't understand why that castle keeps getting buried by water. And sometimes someone like Dr. Pina will create a trench, right, that'll help keep the water away from us. And I thank you for that, Dr. Pina, for regularly providing outstanding leadership to us.
Thank you.
And on that note, what are your thoughts?
I believe so. It's kind of very difficult. Some things in page 185, the scalings is not for the faint of heart. I even have the page number 185. I think it's the last page of the sixth paragraph of Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And creating something and having a deadline and make it a really kind of impossible, frighten everybody, frighten everybody, and brings the worst and also bring the best. And sometimes you have to have big decisions, make decisions, because sometimes things don't move the way you want, but also you feel this energy around that something is not right, something is not going well, and all of a sudden when the obstacle disappear, you feel this freedom, like you feel wow, but there was something there. There's something there because there's always a maintenance or some bad energy around that you don't why what's going on. When the obstacle is gone, when the problem is gone, when the situation is gone, when you identify the crux, you say, oh wow, it's good now, look where we are the superstar, we are the persons really committed, we are the one with faith, we are the one responsible to take this castle to the next level. But it's difficult to build, and when you build it on sand, most likely will be destroyed, will be vanished by the wave. There is no way about it. But when you build it with hearts, with intentions, with intentionality also, but with devotion and with the convictions that this is for real and this is gonna help people and it's beyond you. It's not mine, it's beyond you. So you have to defend it. You have to defend it against anyone who is not building a solid castle for us. So the metaphor is kind of very interesting. It's innocence, it's faith, it's transparency, it's joy, it's childlike relationships, and also it's hope for the future. And that's what you see in that kind of metaphor that you're putting together.
Yeah, I agree with you. Um, Rosaura, how does this impact your creations?
Victor, as I was looking at the video, I was thinking that they always taught us that failure is not an option. Failure is not a choice. But no, we know that failure is part of growing, that we learn from our failure. And as children, we shouldn't be afraid of create something, of inventing something. Because you know what? If we fall, we get up again. Because failure is part of growing. And I'll put that into practice and I'll remember children, anytime I get an idea, don't be afraid of it. Just do it because failure is part of growing. And failure is one of the reasons why we don't try new things. We don't try to create because we're always thinking, what if it fails? What if I lose my money? What if I nobody believe in what I'm saying or nobody wants to follow me? But you know what? You believe in yourself. You put it forward because failure is a good thing. It is a choice because it shows us to rebuild ourselves, learn from our mistake, and start all over again. So you know what? Become the creator that you were born to be. You got it in you. Thank you, Victor.
That is excellent, Rosaura. And I want to close this segment by showing um, something that I saw when I was visiting Atlantic City one time. I'm sorry, Ocean City. Ocean City has a place where there are some incredible sandcastles that were built, and I want to share a few of those images, right? Because we're talking about how sandcastles can be destroyed; they're inevitably destroyed. Well, here I want to show some examples of some everlasting sandcastles, and I want to show how our sandcastles can be forever, right? Because everything that we do, we're always trying to scale for impact. And here is something that was very impactful. Let's see if I could get this up here. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. That is, there is a place in Maryland where you can go and see all these art, long lasting art creations. And these aren't, every day these are sharpened. Um, and they're there. These are made in sand, right? Here's something in Shangri-La that somebody did. These are actually tourist attractions that you can go to, right? Ocean potion, right? So, I want to end with this one here because um, when you walk to Ocean City and you walk into this um, Ocean Castle, Sandcastle Park, this is the first thing that you see. It says all are welcome. And I want to end by saying that all are welcome to dream. You can build these kinds of creations. You can build sandcastles that are made so strong that they can outlast storms, water, the ocean, people trampling on them, right? You can create a sustainable sand castle. Let your dreams and your goals be sustainable in that way because we know that sandcastles are just one stomp away from crumbling, right? Build your dreams with solid foundations so that they can withstand that stomp.
There is a comment. Someone says something. Read it to you. Someone send a message.
Okay, let's see what that message says. Um,
Can you read it? It's on the screen.
I'm going to go now. Let's see messages in the comments.
No, it's on the screen. Don't you see on the screen?
It says Lacanian Psycho Analysis Research Group. You are doing great, sir. Persevere. Wow. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
My first comment on air. That's wonderful.
Your first comment on air. Thank you, sir. You're doing great.
Well, let's go on to the sports passionate path. Here in this path, we do a great amount of work to build our physicality. And when I say physicality, I'm not just worried about how beautiful we look at the beach. We were talking about the beach. We're talking about, the beauty that you have inside, the things that people can't see, your blood pressure rate, your sugar level, whether or not you're breathing at the rate that you're supposed to breathe at, right? These are all things that we take for granted because they're not displayed outwardly, right? And the thing is that people tell you that you're supposed to exercise, and I do, right? Most of us here practice the Galloway method, where we run, we walk, we run, we walk, and I've been able to go from someone who wasn't really a runner. I've always been a baseball player. I'm not really that interested in running, but I ran a half marathon by walking, running, and walking, and it was one of the greatest achievements of my life. Right? These are things that we do to try and improve our health. But the question that I ask you is, while I'm encouraging you to go out and have your own feats like this, the most important feat that you could have every day is making sure that you are tracking your health, that you know what your vitals are, that you don't just show up to a doctor and be surprised when the doctor says that your
I
pressure.
see a question, sir.
Yeah.
A question came in. Can you read it? It's on the screen for you.
Sir Persevere, how was your first marathon like? Well, it was challenging, right? It was very challenging because I had run about 10 miles at the most when I did that half marathon, and running the 13.2 miles that day was going to really challenge me and stretch the limits of how much I had run. And it's one thing to train, it's another thing to be up against the clock and people passing you by. And you know, Dr. Pina, you run more marathons than all of us, right? No one wants to see the white trucks behind you with the yellow lights telling you if we pass you, you're off, you're out the race, right? And so I was pacing myself. I knew that if and when you're not an experienced runner, you also starting in the last tier, so they don't make it easier for you. It's if you're not pacing yourself at about 20 minutes a mile, those trucks are going to pass you by. And I remember I was with my friend Alec, and Alec just kept telling me, Victor, um, that's group 3 passing you now. Group 4 is is gonna pass you soon. Um, when you start seeing the people in the wheelchairs and in the crutches, you're in trouble because right behind them are the white trucks with the yellow lights. And when he's telling me this, we are in Brooklyn. We're passing the Barclays Center. We have to do 13.2 miles, and here it is. It's saying you are at the halfway mark, and my body's breaking down. I'm in tears. I'm looking up ahead, and everything looks uphill. And I've already kind of scoped this out. And I know that the next 3 miles, as my body's breaking down, I'm going to be running uphill, walking. And I start crying. And Alejandro was so great. Alec was so great. He just turned to me and he said, "It's okay. You don't have to run. I know I told you you have to run, right? Let's try to make up the running up ahead. After we get through this, it's a downhill. Try to get your win there, but don't slow down. Walk as fast as you can." And I did that. And I just walked, and I would, start to cry, and I'd start to jog every time I cried because I would just feel the inside of my thighs just squeezing me. And I don't know what happened. At some point in time, like I just said, suck it up. And I just forgot what I was doing for a second. And before you know it, he was like, okay, now let's run. We're at 22 minutes a mile right now. We got to get that pace down. And we did. And we finished. We finished that race. And it was the greatest experience, one of the greatest experiences that I've ever had. I've been very successful. I've had an MBA in my life. I've had great jobs. I've done so many great things in my life, but that one is definitely a top 3 moment for me. And so I was starting to say that yes, it's great to have those kinds of achievements, but the greatest achievement that you could have every day is making sure that you track your vitals every day and that your vitals are better today than they were yesterday. That is how you win a race, one step at a time. Every day, be better than yesterday. Every day, lose a pound, lose a couple of ounces. Every day, walk just a little further. Every day, make better choices when you eat. And that's how you can use the sports passionate path to better yourself. Better yourself by actually doing the exercise and then tracking the results to see what the impact is of that on your life. So let's move on to the authorship path. All of us are creating different kinds of books, different kind of products. I'm working on an audio book. I know Dr. Pina has written at least 15 books, and Lord knows how many he has helped others publish, through his Meta Poesia movement. Um, so let's go around. Hosanna, I always love hearing about the book that you're you're writing about, because it's like right on the heels of the sports passionist path, and I know that that would jive well. Like, what are you doing with your book, Rosada? Tell us about it.
Well, I'm in the process of just continue expanding on the ideas that I have. And the book talks about, it's going to tell a story of a very, very dark side of my life. When I was just about to eat out, order Chinese food, buy some cake, buy some pizza, and I was enjoying the moment, but I didn't realize that I was caving my grave. I was caving it and bury a big hole that was getting deeper and deeper and deeper. That lifestyle, very poor movements, because as soon as you finish eating, you get sleepy, and you think that you're living the best days of your life. But you know what? In reality, you're living the darkest day of your life, because that lifestyle took me to a series of sickness, diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and many more things. So, when you have all of those conditions and you don't address it with a change in lifestyle, you're getting to your grave. You're making it official. You're getting ready. And I had to make a lifestyle switch and change so I could come to the resurrection, live again, feel better, and do things. And that's the story that I want others to hear, that there's always an option. That option is a change of lifestyle, change of practices, change of behavior to adapt other positive behavior, like this sport passion is path. Move your body, do whatever you want to do, but move it and have fun as you're doing it, because it serves a purpose. You're building your life. You're getting back your energy, your vitality, which in terms is going to transfer into better health. So that's my story that I want to share. That's my story that I want everybody to know, that you may having fun and it feels good to eat some good arroz y habichuela and pollo frito. It feels good, but don't do it too often, because the consequences are very severe.
Thank you, Rosada. And I'd like to ask Lawrence in a follow up to what you're saying, right? Lawrence, you were one of the creators of this concept of six paths, right? You worked alongside with Dr. Pina to create the founding, you actually gave this a path. You gave the paths, you gave the shapes, right? Why was it so important to create an authorship path? What do you feel that does? How do you feel that that helps people? How does that help the world? What was the concept? What was the thought behind that?
I think people have knowledge. Sometimes they don't realize they have it. And it's important to share that information with others. Your your experience, your life experience, things you've learned as you've gone along the many different paths that you go through in life. And it's important to impart that wisdom that you've gained with other people. Um, that's very important.
And one of the things that earlier today in prayer, we were talking about um, we were talking about a scripture, and I actually want to read that scripture, right, because it's meaningful here, right? It's from James 3:13. It says, "Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom." Right? Here it is talking about how God evaluates people. He doesn't evaluate those who speak the loudest or who are the ones who show up into the room and command all of the attention. It says here that he evaluates them according to their works. And what an incredible way to show your beauty, to show who you are, to yell, scream, say, look at me, right? Than to quietly write a book that not only shares about you and your experiences, but it impacts others and it helps them perhaps either identify or characterize with some of the things that you're saying, or that it could possibly spur others to be better in places just because of what you shared. Because the Lord made us to share and He made us to fellowship. And a book is a tremendous way to fellowship with anyone that will pick up the cover of your book and read your thoughts. Um, so now we're going to end by going to the creator path. Dr. Pina, why don't you give us a little direction here? How do you want to close out this segment today?
The thinker path. It's
Yeah.
yeah, we follow this program is just amazing because we are 365 coach, certified coach, and we bring a complete system that is doable, that is a structure, and it's a pattern, but it's so amazing, so rich. When everybody brings their own capacity, and I believe the thinker path is one of the amazing one because it's not only the creator path, but the thinker path, which is it's let's write, let's read. One of the most important is this one. Just go read. And now we have three books. We have the books of the science of scaling. We have the total money makeover that we do on Money Monday, and we do the amazing the science of scaling. But that's David Ramsey, especially for people who are just coming, who want to understand money, who want to win the money issues that we all have when we come to America, and then the science of scaling, who changed completely the process of the 5 Wellness Club, and then now we're working on the 100 millions money models by Alex Hormozzi. We have it right there. So that's big, the guy, and it's about thinking better, doing better, and think, grow rich, grow on happiness, on relationships, on self improvement, and exactly that's what we do. We're happy that you're here, and if you want to know more, and if you want to be part of this process, just start right there. Start on foundations. Foundation is just with 99. You be part of this 60p movement. You go into our community. You can see in on the banner. You just go to xwclub.com and get to school, and you're gonna find us right there. You just start there. If you're gonna be part of the money or the Congress Sunday, and you want to have a permanent group, then you ascend to a second level. And this second level, the most amazing is like you're gonna be on a weekly basis. You're gonna be accountable. You can be in the hot seats at the end of the month. So don't allow you to get criticized by anybody. We don't criticize anybody except one day. We support people except one day. One day, we give each other our permissions to do whatever you want to say about the other people. The rest, oh no, the rest, let's one love, one love. It's a give me love, give me love. Don't criticize me all the time. And criticism is really bad. We have studied that for a long time. It's destroy relationships and people slowly and deeply. It's been one of the four horsemen of apocalypse according to Godman. So you just do it on a very safe day moment. But that's most likely what it is. It's thinker, become better yourself, improve, and any process, any steps that you go, and that's what we get from the 60p pass. It's a complete transformations of your life, your business, your career, your goal, and it puts you not in the past, but it puts you in the presence, in the best of you, and that's what we do at 60p.
Excellent. And what a great way to end. And so, my big takeaway from today is that we are all scalar dreamers. We all have an inner child in us that allows us to explore borders with no fences. And we all have a book in us. And if you join our club, we can help you find your true purpose. We can help you learn more about yourself and to make all those inner talents and strengths that you have hidden and embedded in you, we can help you develop those just simply by coming to our club every day and being a part of this incredible fellowship that we have here on a daily basis. Once again, I'm Phil Persevere. Thank you. Wishing everyone a beautiful and blessed day.
Click it.